YouTube, what's up? Wanted to go through life on the road, working. Oh, she wants to give no attention now, huh? You want to give no attention? See, she wanted to give me a lot of attention a few minutes ago. She's getting a little restless. She wants to get outside. We've been waiting here for over 2 hours now, waiting to get unloaded. But my time is coming. We'll get unloaded here pretty soon. Then got another load we're going to pick up down here near the Gulf. I'm in Alabama now. Going to pick up a load in Mississippi, just across the border. We're close to the border. And go up to Iowa. But I want to talk about life on the road, trucking, work dog with a dog, man. What's up, dude? Say hi to the people, yo. Oh, okay. Well, I want to talk about that because I was nervous. My dog, my experience. Want to give my experience and maybe uplift or inspire somebody if they're interested in the same thing, or maybe they're worried or whatever the case. Because I was a little concerned. I was a little worried. Because Molly was about a year and a half. I think she was about maybe 2 years old. She was fairly young. And she had a problem with riding. She's such a high energy dog. She's a German short hair pointer and mix. And, she's so high energy. She developed this separation anxiety really bad. And it's gotten a lot better. But she's also developed, she developed back then, trouble riding. I mean, she was foaming at me. If you know anything about GSPs, they drool when they get real nervous and wound up and excited. And, man, she was a rough rider. Not in the truck, though. I worked on that because I was really diligent, man. Because I'm planning on living in the truck. And I'm planning on trying to make this a career. So, leading up to it, I did a lot to try and get her right. And I just want to give my experience in short. If you're worried about your dog, man, they do really well out here, man. Even she was a tough case to begin with, but she got a lot better. And it didn't take long. The big difference is you're going to notice that when you're riding on the interstate, these dogs tend to do real good. Especially Molly, it did not take long. She really understood the assignment that it was time to relax. It was time to relax. She's got a bed back there she can lay back. She's got a really good setup I put together for her up here. And I try to make her life on the road definitely comfortable with some snacks and stuff like that. So, she understood that difference. When you're riding around town, if you got a dog that's a rough rider, man, I don't know if they're going to, that was my thing. I don't know if she's going to do good OTR. I don't know if she can do it. I don't know, man. I'm worried about that because, I'm planning on throwing my stuff in storage and living in the truck. So this is it. This is not I'm going to get a local job. No, this is what I'm doing. And the dog needs to be ready to ride. And it needs to be good for both of us. I was concerned. And so she was bad with the riding. So leading up to while I was getting ready to go into school to get my license, I was easing her into it. I was taking her on car rides. We would go do little trips, day trips, ride 3 hours away and ride around town. I was training her to get better. And it was tough going. She just was really nervous and a lot of drooling. It looked unhealthy. It looked like I was forcing her into doing something she didn't want to do. Even though she wanted to get in the car, she was good to go. She'd get in the car. And then there was one time I was pushing her so hard she didn't want to get in the car. I was worried, but she pulled through it. We pulled through it. And the real change came when we finally got into a truck. So she wasn't even that great of a rider. But before I got her in the truck, I had sent her to a board and train and got her comfortable on, really good on basic obedience training. The trainer had her for 2 weeks. And I did that while I was on the road. I dropped her off when I came home, and I came back 2 weeks later, picked her up. And that made a difference. She was so happy and excited to see me. She didn't care what we were doing, where we were going. She was in. That helped. All that stuff helped, and I needed every bit that I could. And, she wasn't even that good of a rider in the car. But when I picked her up from the trainer, definitely better. I was concerned. Actually, part of the training, I wanted the trainer to work on her in the car. I don't really know if he did or not. I can't even remember if I asked, but she was better. But still, a little anxious and stuff. But, when we got on the road and the first assignment, the first load from the house, you know, she rode like she was new, no doubt. You know, she spent her time down here in the floorboard, next to my feet. And, you know, I'm giving her a lot of grace because I know that that's not how I want her to ride. You know, she can mix up with me in the pedals and it can be dangerous. But I gave her some grace, understanding that, hey, you know, this is just for now. And she didn't take long. She definitely got more comfortable. She understood that there were other and better places to be. She got a, you know, we stay in the truck for months at a time. We live in the truck. Okay, we spend more than 330 days a year in the truck, and in 4 years, over 500,000 miles. Okay, we've been getting it in, with laying them miles down and staying out. So, you know, man, she really adjusted really well. I was really pleased and really satisfied. So if you're worried about that, man, I would suggest doing what I did. You know, easing her into riding. But that's the difference, man. When you're riding around town in a car or something like that, that's where a lot of that anxiety comes from, the stopping and going and all the different things. But when you're in a truck, especially when you get on that interstate, it's a whole different deal, man. So even in the car, she was better. When we just finally got on the interstate, she calmed down. So that was my experience, at least. And, you know, it's turned out something that was going to be concerning, turned out really good. And she's a riding dog. She will not want me to leave the house without her. Especially when it comes to that truck. If that truck starts, oh yeah, she's wound up, ready to go. And it's just a way of life for both of us now. And I just wanted to share my experience on that. It was, you know, it was that kind of deal. One of the other things I would do is, you know, have some little peanut butter treats with you. Like I put peanut butter in a little, you know, what are they called? The little, it's kind of like a little pup cup. I don't know, but you know, that helps. You know, stuff like that helps. Kind of have them a little snack, have them, you know, something to ease down to. That peanut butter really seems to help dogs. And, you know, she gets a peanut butter treat every other day now, pretty much, sometimes every day. And, you know, it's turned out a lot better than I thought, man. And so I hope it does for you too, if you're in a similar situation. And, you know, that training with the dog too, the e-collar, I talk about that in a few of my other videos about the e-collar and the board and train, my experience. Check that out, man. Because I think that made a big difference too, probably. More than I probably can even really, I take for granted, probably. You know, and I just wanted to make sure that we would be good like that. And I did my part, and she did her little part, so. You know, but as far as the other things, you know, life on the road with a dog, man, it's definitely more than what folks out here that don't have a dog. I kind of envy it a little bit, but you know, it is nice when you get to sleep at night and your dog is under the covers, cuddle up next to you, keeping you warm in the winter. And, you know, you have a lot of cute moments, a lot of nice adventures. You know, she lives a life out here as well, different from mine. And the things that she gets to see and experience, you know, the things we've been through, it was funny. You know, when we first started, she really didn't care about what the sights and the scenes were too much. But these days, I catch her sometimes, she's just looking around, and she's just admiring the scenery too. You know, and she's just looking, and she's looking at the snow and the sleet and the rain, and she's looking at the mountains and stuff that we never would see. You know, from living on the East Coast, we see the West Coast mountains, and we've seen some incredible, beautiful stuff. You know, the sunrises and the sunsets. Sometimes I catch her just looking. Another thing, it was funny. She never cared too much about what was going on. She was just focused internally, like what's going on around her. But at some point, all of a sudden, she started paying attention, and I noticed her start paying attention to you know, the animals and stuff along, you know, that we see along driving on the interstate. And she went through a phase where if there were cows on a pasture on the side of the interstate, she'd be looking, and she'd just be intent, like, what are they doing? What is going on? What are they? And we had a whole adventure with that, where one time I pulled up to a farm and brought her over to some horses and cattle, and she got a close-up experience with them. Maybe I'll post that video. Maybe I'll share more of that experience. And, you know, it's just things like, you know, I've got so many pictures of different experiences that we've had and things that she's seen. And you know, she gets her daily walks. You know, she really walks herself because of the e-collar and stuff I talk about. And all I have to do is just do my due diligence to take her out. She normally gets, I would say, probably 3 to 6, you know, walks and times outside a day. She's pretty well conditioned to understanding that, you know, I'm on a time crunch. I'm also working hard. I want to be in the truck and relaxing. So, you know, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time outside, especially in a lot of these dirty places we go to in trucking. So it's not as nice as you would think. So, you know, she's pretty conditioned. You know, it's a lot of, you know, 7 to 15 minute breaks and, you know, hopping back in the truck. And then there's times where we get out and we stay out for 30 minutes, an hour. I've had times where I kept a chair with me and we, you know, have a nice place to hang out. I've got some nice pictures of doing some stuff like that. We've done that everywhere from California, Colorado to Mississippi and all kind of stuff. And, you know, there are places we get to where it's wide open and we go walking in the woods or this, that, and the other. We've had a lot of experiences with different wild animals, and she's gotten sprayed by skunks a few times. Gosh, we had a close call the other day. Oh my God, man. Oh my gosh. I want to get into it real quick. So she's been sprayed by a skunk 2 other times. One time, it was in South Dakota, and maybe I should make a whole separate video. I don't know, because this sounds like a pretty interesting topic. But the other night, we had a close call. This skunk was like the size of a large porcupine or a small deer. This was a big furball skunk, come almost running up on us. It was surreal. And Molly saw it, and she's going after it. Running right to it. I'm freaking out. I'm yelling. It's the middle of the night. Trucks all, you know, around. I'm freaking out. I'm yelling at her, and I'm grabbing the e-collar to try and get her around. I get her just before she starts getting to the damn gum skunk. Man, it was a close call. Maybe I should make another video on that. It's kind of funny. It's interesting stuff. So, let me pull forward, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like if you liked it, and share the video if you feel like doing that. We're definitely trying to get more attention on the videos. And thanks for engaging. We'll see you later. Molly, you say bye? Oh, we're out.